All right, everybody, welcome back to the Keeping It Real podcast. Today, I got a very, very special guest with me, my homie Jacob. How I actually first met him was a very funny story that we might even talk about later on in this pod, but met him at a meetup in Florida in October, I believe.
Yeah,
And
bro.
yeah,
Yeah.
just stayed in touch, and then ended up working together on some couple of stuff. And I just brought him on because, he's killing it with the TikTok game in the e-com space as well. I really respect what he's doing and just kind of get to know him a little bit more. So, Jacob, without further ado, welcome to the podcast, broski.
100%. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Oh yeah, man. For the people that don't know you, man, just give a very quick, brief introduction on who you are, what you do, and yeah, we'll start from there.
100%. Yeah. 20 years old, living out in Miami. A lot of people know me for my TikTok presence. I do
Mm-hmm.
the whole entrepreneur guru TikToks and have that whole side of my life as well as behind the scenes. I'm running e-commerce businesses, as well as, learning and getting better every day.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Love that, man. And right before this podcast, like I was telling you, I just watched your video on your story from, starting from 2014 to, where you are now. And it's honestly very, very impressive. And one thing I've noticed is from the beginning, you've always had this entrepreneurial mindset, right? Like the story of the hoverboards, buying
Oh,
them as samples and then selling it to your friends, or even just like, that the hype beat stuff. Where do you think this part of you, came from? And also it's like, most people don't think about this, right? But why were you thinking a little bit differently? And, what was your mindset in the early stages, just, trying to make money and getting into this business world?
yeah. Both of my parents, my mom and dad, they were both kind of entrepreneurs. My dad, especially, he was born in South Africa. And when he was
Oh, no
18,
way. You're South
yeah,
African. Oh, what?
technically.
No way. Oh,
Yeah.
cool, man. That's so dope.
Yeah, so he always had he had an interesting childhood. He was a terrible student. He actually, funny enough, has a similar story to me. He technically didn't finish high school.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into that later on with my whole story, but they always just pushed me to learn things outside of just school. They understood fully the whole idea of school doesn't properly prepare you for the business aspect of life. So if you want to take that route, kind of untie your income to a job and your time, then
Mm-hmm.
the way to do that is, learning high income skills. And it was always very understood that the way to really get ahead is learning a high income skill, learning it and utilizing it. And it was implanted into my brain from 10.
Right. Yeah. Would you say that certain paradigm shifts and belief systems that I feel like a lot of people have to adopt that you had from an early stage because of the influence of your parents?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I would just say I had a different outlook on life than the
Mm-hmm.
average kid had. Even the whole rich dad, poor dad, I 100%. Although I didn't grow up my family, we weren't extremely rich. Actually, in '08, my mom and dad pretty much went bankrupt because they had some real
Mm-hmm.
estate.
Mm-hmm.
And they were a little over leveraged with mortgages and stuff. My dad always understood the idea of that whole rich dad, poor dad, and leveraging money to work for you. So
Right.
definitely I almost had that quote unquote rich dad that taught me those aspects of life very early on, 100%.
For sure, for sure. I can see that, man, and I can see how that could be an advantage for you. And
100%.
as you should, you took advantage of that,
For
which
sure.
I really respect. Let's talk about the introduction to ecom, because I mean, back when you were doing the hoverboard stuff, imagine you only knew about the drop shipping model, how much you would have made. But talk to me about your introduction to ecom, how you got started and how you even became aware of it, and your first couple of ventures inside of that.
Yeah, 100%. I would honestly say my first subconscious oh shit, this could work was the IOX. I remember it was so
Mm,
mind blowing to me that they would sell them. I remember vividly it was $2,000 they were selling them for. And I was always a kid that I wanted the coolest gadgets and stuff like that. Even now, I buy these cool little things because when I was younger, I wanted to so bad and I never
mm-hmm.
would. So obviously it was expensive. So
Right.
seeing that hoverboard was it was $2,000, but obviously I'm not about at 13 years old, however old I was, it was 2013, I think. So 8 years ago, I was 14. I'm not going to go and buy a $2,000 hoverboard. It's out of the budget. But
Mm-hmm.
looking at it and thinking about it, I think it was my mom that told me, why don't you check on Alibaba? Maybe there's knockoffs of it. And we figured out the
Wow.
product wasn't even made by them. They were literally just rebranding it almost like a drop shipping store. And they were just selling it for $2,000. And these influencers that hopped onto it first pretty much said IO Hawk is the product. So everyone initially,
Mm,
especially the first 6 months, all thought it was IO Hawk. They blew
wow.
up. They made a ton of, dude. I don't know how much. I would say IO Hawk made at least 10 million in that 6 month span. They,
Had
they
to, right? Like
they
barely any
crushed.
competition,
Bieber, I remember
the
Bieber.
margins. Fuck.
Everyone was posting about it. Fucking DJ Khaled, he loved it. And yeah, I mean, just overall seeing that, it made me think. My mom was the one who told me, I remember, check Alibaba. And I didn't even have like credit cards and bank accounts. I think I had a high school debit, but I remember I had to pay her the money in cash. And I did a $1,500 sample order with the
Hmm.
supplier because they had a minimum order quantity of 10. But I said I want samples and I got all of their colors, all five, $1,500, five of them. I remember they shipped big like boxes. It was crazy getting it. And yeah, I opened one up. It was like I was really shaking because I really did want it for myself, but I knew it would be cake because all my friends wanted one too. And yeah, I mean, I kept one for myself. I sold the other four for 600 per and made some money from it. But it wasn't even like a business venture. It was just really to get my own at that time. But that was like my
Right.
first like smell of it, I'd say.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Do you remember your first drop shipping store and your whole
Yeah.
experience with that?
Yeah, so it was fall winter of 2017. I refer to it as that because that's how I remember I did Supreme drops before drop shipping. The
Mm.
whole buying and selling Supreme. Still to this day, I used to have in my videos a Supreme water bottle. It was like the last thing I ordered from a Supreme drop. But it was fall winter of 2017. I was a 10th grader in high school and just like doing my thing. I had some pretty good grades the first semester. I was just like kind of doing my thing. Moving into early spring of like 2018, that's when grades started to decline a bit. And I was then starting to look at like ways to make money. Um, the main things that I remember indicated me to it were YouTube. I was always a big YouTube guy. I watched a lot of YouTube. Now as I get older, I learn, I think it was one of Luca's podcasts, but there's good and bad sides to YouTube and it's easy to confuse them. At that time,
Hmm.
I didn't understand that. I just consumed a ton and like, 10% of it was good. Like 90% was the stupid like video games or vlogs from some random like travel guy, but 10% of it was good. And one of the guys I watched that was good was Hayden Bowles. I remember seeing
Oh,
some
my
of his
guy,
videos.
Hayden. Let's
Yeah.
go.
I remember seeing
Podcast
some of
coming out
his.
with Hayden soon.
That's
Sorry, I
fire.
had to
That's
plug
fire.
that.
Yeah. But I mean, I remember seeing some of his videos. Those definitely gave me some like aha moments. And then also the FaZe Banks Rice Gums. I remember those guys that like it clicked that people could make money at a young age. And I really wanted to like live that life. And then yeah, I stumbled upon drop shipping. I think what really got me into it was I came at it with influencer ads. My older brother,
Hmm.
he already understood influencer ads pretty well. So I just genuinely thought, okay, all I have to do is just make a basic store and I'll try an influencer ad. At this time, I had a few K saved up. So, I wasn't stressing. And I went ahead and made my first store. It was actually selling AirPods way
Mm.
back. I know Luca had a similar thing with Supreme Patty. AirPods were hot back then. If you can get like the processing approved, I didn't know this at the time, but processing nightmare that leads you down. But
Facts.
just tried it with that, did pretty well. That was like one of my first products to like really start hitting. And yeah, man, it was like, mid 2018 where stuff really started popping off. I did like a 4K day, 4.5K day. That was my biggest day, I believe. And
Hmm.
just like learning those like bare bones of business and entrepreneurship. First year I filed taxes,
Right. Just gaining all those skills from this, drop shipping. Same
failing,
here.
failing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure, bro. And I'll, rather make those early mistakes with, $100
100%.
than now, right? And even me, actually, the first store that I ever did emails for was a AirPod store around
Really?
2018. Yeah, around
That's
2018
funny.
as well, man. So it's crazy to
They were
think that's like,
popping.
yeah, bro. I mean, everybody was selling them. I think this person kind of had some issues with suppliers and such.
Everyone did, dude.
Yeah, dude.
It was
Dude,
so
I remember
bad.
Black Friday 2018. All my boys just selling AirPods and just making like five figures, and I was like, damn,
Apple,
shit's
what
great.
happened was like a lot of people don't know this. And the reason it like, I mean, it didn't stop, but it really slowed down. Apple recruited a huge law firm and pretty much,
Oh, no
I
way.
don't know what they paid them, but I do know that the law firm was pretty much contracted by Apple and got paid a fee based on like how big of a fish they cracked. So what these
Mhm.
law guys would do is they
Wow.
were cease and desisting you. And this was like what I was going to get to, like how that store ended. Literally, I had a 30-page cease and desist show up at my front
No,
door at 17.
I
My
can only
mom,
imagine.
it freaked my mom out. But yeah, they pretty much got contracted out by Apple, and I forget the law. I remember they made me show them everything. They pretty much said, if you don't
Damn.
comply with us, we sue you. And in my head, I'm like, the store did like 400K. So I'm like,
Oh
they
shit.
sue me and go for gross. I'm fucked. That probably only like 40, 50 grand. And yeah, I mean, I just showed them everything and they left me alone, thankfully, man. But the
Wow.
bigger fish, they definitely fried. They
Yeah,
definitely
I
fried.
I know some people I think that had similar experiences, maybe even worse. Damn. You mentioned your brother just now, but I know you even in the video you had mentioned your brother, helping you out with the Instagram stuff and even paying you for management. Like, what role has he played in your, journey as an entrepreneur? And what
Yeah,
does he do as
definitely.
well?
Yeah, my brother, he has like a pretty interesting similar story in terms of leaving school and stuff like that. His main
Hmm.
thing is the whole Instagram aspect of everything. He owns those
Oh,
big pages. He does like influencer marketing for companies. So it was almost like a yin and yang to an extent. He knew like what I didn't know, and I was learning the idea that he didn't know because,
hmm.
his role as a business owner was he would advertise for brands on his pages. And then I am that business owner. So he would give me the good prices, the good connections for those influencer ads. I remember I ran up like the first 50K with influencer ads. Then
Wow.
Facebook's where I really took off, but influencer ads was almost like my proof of concept. I would have never
Hmm.
even thought about Facebook ads without influencer because it's like it was like my barrier of entry, seeing like, okay, it sells. Then I started watching the Hayden Bowles videos, Facebook ads, build outs, etc. But I mean, even with that store, like it was such like a crazy time. My brother helped me a ton. He was like advising me, 3 years older than me. He's always been like a major figure in my life, similar to my
Hmm.
dad. And yeah, pretty much, he just like would always have something for me to do, especially my first few months out of school. Drop shipping was like still like I was learning about it, but I wasn't fully doing it yet. It only really
Hmm.
started picking up when I did that Facebook ad. So like the world of running a drop shipping store. Once you build it
Yeah.
out and you're running influencer ads, like I post an ad at 9 a.m. Took me 30 minutes to pay the dude, and I just like watch. So like I was still a normal kid to an extent, and my brother would give me like jobs, helping him out because of that trust factor. Like I'm sure you know, and like I know as a business owner, the trust is the hardest thing to find with like
Yeah.
employees. So he knew he could trust me with like his bigger ventures. Mind you, he like crushed it. My brother, I can actually connect you if you're interested in chatting with him. He did like $1 million in a single month in gross
Wow.
revenue. Yeah, in an IG
Wow.
agency, picking up some big
Gee.
clients and companies. But yeah, just like a major guidance and factor and give me jobs and helping him out for an extent, like of like a month and a half. I was even his assistant, just helping him with
Mhm.
stuff. But yeah, just like helping me
That's
learn.
dope, man. Getting that experience and having someone that you can kind of just get advice from.
Exactly.
That's definitely helpful. Let's talk about you dropping out, man, at was it the age of 16?
16.
Yeah, so I mean, I already know, I mean, you've been different, thinking different, doing all this money stuff. I can only imagine dropping out, probably a crazy thing, not just for the people around you, but family and people that were like, probably like looking
It
at you
was
as you were
it
growing
was
up thinking shit.
crazy.
Yeah, I want to hear this whole thing, like mainly like people's reaction, your headspace at the time. And also were you even making that much money when you dropped out? I'm
Yeah,
curious to hear that as well.
it's a whole thing. And like I tell people all the time, I remember like the broad story, the nitty gritty, especially like what like people said to me. I don't remember too well, obviously, but what I do know is like, moving into that spring summer of 2018, that's my second semester of 10th grade. That's when the grades started decaying. I knew I kind of had to like start focusing up on a business model. And
Hmm.
I pretty much told my mom, like, we almost made this like subconscious mutual agreement. Like we would chat a little. We never really discussed it. It was always we would talk a little bit about it. And she pretty much understood like the school I was going to, I'm not going to be able to go back to. They pretty much said like this Jacob guy, we don't really want him to an extent. I threw parties in ninth and 10th grade. I didn't get the best grades. I was in a Jewish school. So the
Hmm.
classes that were like religion based, I never fully focused on because I knew the grades weren't going to depict like the colleges. So they're just like, fuck this kid. And moving into junior year, I'm like, you know, I was gonna have to go to like some random public school or something, make a ton of new friends. I already had that mindset of like, I don't think I'm gonna go to college. My backup plan was I'd get an AA at a community college and then transfer to a better university, but never had to really take action in that and dropped out officially. My first final, I walked into the final. I just actually told the story last night to a buddy, but I
Hmm.
walked into my first final and I literally took it was a long, like, 5, 10 pages like test. And I'm like, why am I about to take? I didn't know shit. Like the first question I
Right.
remember it would have been fully a guess. At that time, I'd literally take tests as like I would just like, it's like check boxes to me. I would just check, 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 a random sentence. I used to answer like one sentence questions with just like none or like a line saying like hell no. But I just went up to the teacher. I put my name and date because I knew he needed to grade it. So like out of being polite, name and date, I said, I can't do this. You know, you could just give me a 0. Got in my little Honda Civic and just dipped out of that school, drove home. And that was the last day I like stepped into school as a student. I remember I got home. My mom wasn't even home. My brother was, because he was already out of school at that time working. And yeah, you know, I just picked up for him, did my own things with drop shipping, and just started learning those like little skills, you know, like almost I feel like as every entrepreneur just like hustles a bit in the beginning. You know,
Yeah.
you're doing whatever the fuck will make you a dollar, you know?
Facts.
You don't find your thing
Facts.
yet. And those first like 3 months were weird because everyone went into summer and no one really knew what I was doing. You know, you have like close friends than not so close
Mhm.
friends in high school. So we had like 200 people in our grade. So it wasn't that big. And everyone knew everyone. I was always a very social kid. And I had like a few people hit me up, my close friends, obviously. And I told them, you know, I'm not going back. I'm just going to work at home. They're like, what do you mean work? Like, what are you going to do?
Mhm.
And that's exactly what I did, man. Once 11th grade started, they all went back to school and I just didn't. And it got a little weird. I definitely would say some friends, like I just, you know, the people, a lot of people get it when they leave high school that like,
Mhm.
okay, you just don't talk to 90% of the people you used to talk to. It's just how it is. You fade away
Facts.
from people.
Facts.
But so like that 10% of my friends, the close, like 5 guys, they stayed close to me, obviously. Then a few mutual friends I'd see here and there. But other than that, dude, I was a like, and by the way, this is like a proud statement. I was a fucking loner that wanted to make a fuck ton of money. I'd sit at
Mhm.
home every single day. I'd drive to get coffee every morning. Same coffee I've always gotten, white chocolate mocha. I'd fucking get the coffee, drive
Nice.
home. Dude, all I did was work and learn. So I don't even remember what I did other than I had in like, we had a half garage. My mom let me like take over the garage as my office. I put a desk in
Mhm.
it. I have my little dog and I just grinded every day.
That's
2 years
awesome.
straight from me leaving school, pretty much the whole high school. So 11th and 12th grade, all I did was sit at home, work, learn. I ran up that first store selling AirPods to around 500,000 in gross sales in that time. I had fun, mind you, not just working like at nights and stuff. I chill with friends and stuff. We go fuck around like high schoolers do. But literally, like the extent of what I did was work and then like go out to little dinners, IHOP, shit like that with my friends,
Mhm.
McDonald's, little parties here and there. One thing I can definitely say a lot of dropouts can relate, especially college, but high school, it happens even crazier, is like the social aspect of your life doesn't continue excelling.
Mhm.
Like the social skills you learn in year 11 and 12 and like even freshman year of college, those go away when you drop out of school because you're not accelerating like others are. So I
Mhm.
developed a bit of social anxiety, especially like senior year of high school, because
Mhm.
I was just frankly like at home all day.
Right.
I didn't really see too many people other than my close friends and family. And then yeah, the big like aha moment past those 2 years of dropping out. And by the way, I had like the whole 9 yards of my mom literally told me like some of her friends like said like what the fuck are you doing like
Yeah.
your kid's just out of school. They didn't know the financial situation already. Like I already built up some money. Mind you, I got my first Rolex at 17.
Mhm.
I just it was like 6K for like an older date just. Um and like was just learning and really I almost say it was like my run up. Looking back, whether I made like whatever I made or didn't make anything, I learned so much. It allowed me to like kind of beat that 2 years of buffer. Like now, genuinely in like a non-cocky manner, I genuinely know how to build businesses so well and like safely
Right.
because I dealt with the payment processing issues. I dealt with the customer support issues. So it taught me so many of those like bare bones skills you need that like
Mhm.
will guide you so much in future businesses. And yeah, pretty much I never really bothered to argue with people. So a lot of people just thought it was weird what I was doing. And only when I was 18 and everyone was going off to college was when I had like my first real like paradigm shift. But
Mhm.
yeah.
I like that, man. A couple of things you said there, bro. That story of you just the last day of school. That's some like straight out of a movie type shit. When I
And
was
dude, it
watching that
was.
video and I heard that, I'm like, that is wild because I've had a
I never
dream
went
about that
back.
before, but I've never done it in real life. And another thing that I liked you said in the video, which you just mentioned, is that period of time when you were alone. You know, I forgot someone told me it's like every man needs to go to like a period of solitude to like just kind of grow on
100%.
another level. And I've agreed because I've had that, you've had that as well.
You need it.
And yeah, I believe so. You know what I'm saying? Where you're just like not distracted at all. So it's, yeah, it's really good to see. And I'm pretty sure those 2 years that you were alone definitely, you know,
I loved
accelerated a
it.
lot of growth, man, a lot of growth
Yeah.
as
I
well.
want to like almost repeat that. Like I love the idea of the solitude and like being alone. You just like experience life differently and like no one distracts you. Too many
Yeah.
distractions, I feel like these days.
Yeah. I mean, sure. We can just quickly touch on that then, because you do live in Miami. Let's start with that first, bro. Yeah. Like how is it like living in Miami at the age of 20 with, you know, the freedom that you have with the business and brand that you build up? And, you
Crazy.
know, I was asking someone else this yesterday as well, or Josh the other day as well about, you know, not getting lost in the sauce because it's so easy to get distracted. Right. So
Dude, too
for,
easy.
yeah. So talk about that, man. Just like moving to Miami, living there right now and not getting lost in the sauce.
Yeah. So initially, like that was the whole thing. Those 2 years I had at home, it's like I didn't realize, bro, building money at home is so easy because you have no expenses, no distractions.
Trust me.
And you like, bro, like my idea of like an expensive dinner was like probably like $40 at like fucking Payway.
Hmm.
So for me, those 2 years looking back were just such like a focused aspect of my life, which is what I love. But believe it or not, even before living in, I mean, now I'm 20, I'm living in Brickell, which is like downtown Miami, but I actually moved out officially right when all my friends left to college. So, high
Hmm.
school ended and they all left. And I had like almost like a like switch in my mind, just realizing, okay, next stage of life has like just begun. And the next day, I pretty much moved out. I just got an Airbnb in North Miami Beach. Told my mom, I'm like, yo, I'm just gonna dip for like three days. That 3 days turned to a month, and I toured some apartments in Sunny Isles, which is like North Miami on the beach.
Hmm.
Got a sick deal. You know Cameron Howard, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Yes, I got a sick deal there on the beach, bro. 3,000 square feet. The place goes for like 10K a month now. I was only paying like five and a
Wow.
half. And yeah, I stayed there with my brother for 6 months. Cameron came to visit. That's his first time coming to Miami. Had some fun, worked, stayed pretty focused because like women and partying isn't too big there. It's like 30 minutes out of Miami.
Hmm.
And then 6 months in, I wanted to really like branch out into life and get my social like meter back up high because I've always
Hmm.
been a super social guy. I wanted to meet a new group of friends, business owners, etc. And I booked it to Brickell, which is like the heart of Miami to an extent for like
Yeah.
entrepreneurs. I remember when I came to visit here, I don't want to say the exact floor because I don't want to dox it. I'm not trying to get robbed, but
Hmm.
I'm in the building's 85 floors high. And I came and visited here and I was like, I want a cool view. I'm home all the time. So I'm looking, they have like 57, 43, 62. I'm like, what's the highest unit you have under 5K? And she said, this unit. I'm like, fuck it. Let me see it. I saw it. It's like, dude, sick view of Miami. And I just thought I'd be home and like meet some new people. So I moved in and it was great. Didn't know anyone here. I moved here pretty much alone. I had one friend who was Cameron, who lived like in city center, pretty close to me.
Hmm.
And other than that, I was still on my grind mode. Coming from Sunny Isles in high school, the only idea of life I knew was work at this point. And
Hmm.
then I met a few friends here, went to like my first real bar, only went to my first bar, like actual real bar at 18 and like a
Right.
half, like a year and a half ago. Because I never had like the experience. A lot of people partied a lot in high school, went out to clubs. I just never did. And yeah, I mean, fucking went through the Miami like spell to an extent. You go out, especially like talking to like kids, just so many girls. It's like insane. And then I realized only now, like what Instagram clout plus money, it's a lethal combo. And then the whole idea of tables, fucking social media, everything.
Yeah, bro. I actually have a question later on for exactly that. We're gonna save it for that. But man, that's so cool to hear, man. That's so cool to hear.
Yeah.
You enjoy living there, bro. You see yourself staying there for like, next, like, let's just say 2 to 3 years, or do you see yourself like moving?
Well, my lease right now ends in April. This will be my second year here. Ending,
Hmm.
I'm a year and a half now. I plan if real estate drops on like 10-15%, I want to buy a spot in like Doral or more inland Miami with like a
Right.
pool, 2-story spot,
Hell
live in
yeah.
it for maybe a year, just do a major year focus up. And then hopefully by then I plan within a year or two, I want to be at like a net worth of over 10 mil with real estate and crypto. And then at that point, hopefully just travel with my dog. That's my
Yeah,
plan.
man. Yo, speaking of traveling, out of all the places that you've been to, which one stood out to you? Which one did you have like the most fun in?
I
Curious.
want to say, so Dubai was really, I did Dubai for
Oh
11
yeah,
days.
dude. I remember. Yeah, yeah. The Dubai
Dude,
stories were late, different. Yeah, I remember seeing those. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's so
Dubai was
crazy.
insane. That was the most expensive trip of my life by far. But I would say St. Bart's in the Caribbean. We did that
Mm,
for 3 days. It wasn't even that expensive of a trip. It was just super fun with some close friends. Met some like amazing French girls. Just had a great time. Stayed up till 7 every night. Just like
that's
the
awesome.
the perfect like chill mode back into like full focus. That's my whole thing right now. So I'm breaking up like 3 week to 1 week of full focus and then chill, relax,
Yeah.
recharge back into it.
Yeah, man. I mentioned, or I heard you mention that in the video, and also mentioned that you kind of went through a little period where you're enjoying a life a lot. Um, just going from the transition to being alone on your shit for 2 years to just enjoying life for a couple of months, and realizing like, okay, damn, like like I want to get back to me. Like, what was that process like? Let's just say like just getting back to the focused you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Dude, I feel like it's the biggest struggle in any entrepreneur's life is like the balance between comfortable with your income as well as like once you really get stuff like set up. I mean, you had, I'm sure, like with agencies, that's like one of the biggest things is like you get to a point where you have like clients and income coming in and it's almost like set up. Once you have it set up well, one of the biggest things that my 17 and 18-year-old self like learned was proper delegation and structure in
Hmm.
businesses. I have a line I always use with anyone working for me that I build businesses as tanks. I want to be able to like run over a mine and just like, cool, keep going.
Hmm.
Every aspect and problem that could happen, I think of and try to solve. Like that's like my day to day to an extent. Um, and it's so hard to balance. Like once you're making good money, it's for instance, like I give an example. When I moved to Miami, I was at that point making like bare minimum 40, 50K net a month net.
Hmm.
So it's so easy to be like, what's 2.5K at fucking dinner than a club? Two, three friends, you drop 6, 7K in a night. Like, what is it? You'll make it back in a day or two. But that mindset and almost like allowing yourself to enjoy that at an uncontrolled rate is like very like detrimental and bad for you. Moving here, you don't realize that because it's so like
Yeah.
normal here. There's guys that just do it, but realistically, like what I fully realized once I did it a few times, like had those big nights, the big yacht days, is just doing it on an any time it's not an occasion. It just almost ruins the fun, and you're surrounding
Hmm.
yourself with so much negative, even though your body doesn't see that. Like even the women, like I personally like I love women, mind you. I genuinely think when you're trying to focus, you need to cut out every girl from your life. That's like my thing. I genuinely just fully cut out all girls I talk
Hmm.
to when I'm on focus mode. I just like a week and a half ago, me and my boys were joking around. I genuinely had like a copy and paste. If any girl hit me up, I would just hit them like, hey, I want a break for the next few weeks. Just like, don't hit me up. I'll hit you up for the next few weeks. But yeah, I mean, like between the partying and like the distractions in life, especially in Miami, it's to a next level. Like just very, very hard to balance, which is why I just don't even try to. You really can't.
Facts. No, man. I've noticed that as well. I stayed in Miami for a bit as well. And I remember like after a while, man, going to certain dinners, like you're not even enjoying. I wasn't even present, bro. I remember just
Mhm.
being at Swan, just not like depressed, but I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not even like,
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying? Like, it sounds weird, but I'm here with my good friends who are in Miami. I'm 20 years old. I'm like, I'm not like having fun. I'm not really like you said, the energy,
It's
man.
like the
And
loop.
yeah, bro. My mentor calls, I think there's like this word for it's like hedonistic adaptation or something. After you do something for so long, like you just get adapted to it where I guess you just need more. But even for me, man, yeah, I've noticed less is more. Like the less, bro, now I only go to the clubs if someone invites me. And if it's a birthday, shit, I remember I hadn't gone for a year and I went, I was like, bro, this is fucking fun.
Exactly.
But having a phase when you go every week,
It's
you
retarded.
I kind of had that last, because a bunch of my friends had birthday and this one week I went and I did not enjoy myself at all. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like the whole night, what the fuck am I doing moment,
Yeah.
And I've noticed, and you can probably attest to this, at least entrepreneurs or people in our space, I've noticed that, at least for me through self-awareness, I realize my self-esteem is really tied to like my progress, as a person. Like if today I work from 8 to 8 and do all I'm supposed to do, I'm very happy compared to if I just played games all day or even went and did shit that was fun,
Yeah.
day party, whatever.
Agreed.
Like I find like that 8 to 8, like I'm so much happier now, like going to sleep, like, yo, I'm fucking happy with myself more than anything.
It's the
And I,
purpose.
Yeah, bro, and it just feels better. Like that I found to be like true. I don't even like to use the word happiness, like fulfillment. You know, like that's how I find fulfillment. And I'm like, yeah, man, this is. I'm just gonna stick to this. And even the fun, less is more. Like that's my motto with it. Less is more.
Agreed.
Less I do something, the more I get to enjoy it. But, um, yeah, man. You know, I think first, or I knew you originally as like the TikTok person, and yeah, man. You have I think 500,000 on TikTok,
Yeah,
getting amazing
520.
views, bro. I gotta say, when I searched your stuff up, there was that the video came up of you stitching
Jason.
with with the guy that was like trying to talk shit about you, bro. I
Yeah,
thought your response was one of the best response I've ever heard, bro. Dead ass. It was just like the perfect response,
I
you know.
know.
It was just hitting him with logic and facts,
I
and
know.
I just gotta
That was
say
a
that's
fun weekend.
yeah. That's so dope. But talk to me about like TikTok, man, because you're crushing it on TikTok. So I guess first, like how you started, how you came across TikTok, why you started even posting business stuff, and your current process with it now, and like just I guess systems when it comes to just making content.
Yeah, 100%. I was like a year and a half into my journey of being out of school. You start learning more and more like, okay, you need income, X, Y, and Z saved up to move out. And my goal was to move out. I really wanted to live in LA at that time. And so all I was thinking of was income streams, cash flow. I wanted to have 6 months saved of rent wherever I was going and then have cash flow 3 times rent. That was my goal subconsciously to, okay, I can move out. And I wanted to live bare minimum. I knew it'd be like 35, 4K a month. I wanted a nice spot. Um, and yeah, pretty much I just really just focused up on like making that and getting cash flow set up. So TikTok was just kind of like it clicked because I realized I need to start branching myself out and building that personal brand early on. Like I
Mhm.
was 17 at the time. Actually, I think I started when I was 18, my first video. And I just realized, like I have an interesting enough story where I think it'll click. TikTok was so new. And I posted my first video. I remember it was super like just like basic. It was literally me sitting all white room, just like with the phone. Like this is my story pretty much. 15 seconds.
Mhm.
Follow me if you want to learn more. And it got like 7,000 views, which at the time was like, I was like, what the fuck? Mind you, at
Yeah,
that
that's
time,
wild.
it wasn't even that good. But for a first video, it was like, to me, it was like 7,000 people saw that. And then I started like explaining what I did. And I remember I had a guy DM me on Instagram. I had like 2,000 followers, one post. It was me in Malibu. I remember vividly a trip me, my brother, and my mom took to see my aunt. And we like went to visit Malibu. That was my only photo. And this guy DM me. He's like, yo, I want to start a store. I'm like, interesting. Like, do you have any questions? He's like, XYZ. I'm like, honestly, dude, I'd love to help you, but it's a lot. He's like, I could pay you. I'm like, let's get on the phone. And I got on the phone. We worked out a deal that he'd pay me $750 and I'd guide him through his first store build. And I did that. And I realized like, damn, this is an opportunity. And then I found my first competitor in the course space that was doing the same style as me. We were both doing TikToks, both young, drop shipping, etc. Saw his offer. It made sense. I mimicked the offer to an extent. I made a similar the course with chat support with like the basic store blueprint you need. Started selling
Mhm.
that for $300 and just realized like, wow, doing this in unison with ecom is literally like a lethal combo because
Mhm.
you talk and when people envy and like want what you have, they're so willing to pay you. And yeah, I pretty much just did that. And then once I saw an ROI on posting TikToks, the rest is history. Just started posting a ton. I was aiming to do like 2, 3 a day, built out a team for it. Mind you, already having that drop shipping knowledge prior, like I knew how it works. Sales support here, you know, separate LLC for the taxes, just
Mhm.
everything. Delegating stuff perfectly, focusing. My mom always said, I love this line. My mom always gave me is 80% of your money comes from 20% of your time. So the
Facts.
other 80% that you're spending, like you're just wasting time. So figuring out, and even like day to day, I mean, everyone has issues. I'm still trying to figure this out. Where
Mhm.
I'm spending time that's not making me money, I want to delegate the fuck out of that, get rid of it out of my life. That way I can focus on like evolving, making more. But just started posting a ton and 1,500 videos later, couple basing
Damn.
situations. Here I am.
Yeah, man. What advice would you give to someone that wants to start building a personal brand on TikTok?
Don't do it for the views. If you
Mm,
do it for the views, it's so hard to do well because
interesting.
no matter what you do, almost always it won't click instantly. And just like a business, you gotta like go through the failures to find the wins. And when you do it for the views, it's just too easy to get demotivated.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that, man. How many do you post a day still?
Now I have it. I mean, I don't care as much because the whole like I'm not focusing too much on my whole like course business. I have most of it delegated, but I'm doing one a day myself. I try to, although I skip it
Hmm.
sometimes. Then I have an editor filming, editing, and posting once a day.
Oh, I like that. That's some G stuff, G stuff. And then
Yeah.
that's, I guess that was the start to the e-learning business.
Yeah.
When I first paid you, how's that going? Everything's
Yeah.
good on that
Great.
end.
Yeah. I mean, I took like a good break, especially like getting into partying end of 2022. I stopped revolutionizing, which I
Hmm.
think is the major like fuck up people do. You get to a point where you're not even comfortable. You don't know that you're comfortable subconsciously. um like you don't know that you're comfortable, but subconsciously your like brain is telling you like you're good, like have some fun, especially when you surround
Yeah.
yourself with like not losers but people doing less than you. It makes you feel big, and that's like my whole thing. I'm trying to now have no friends doing like not worse than me, but I want everyone around me to have ambition. I don't care how much money
Hmm.
someone has. I want people around me to have ambition. Like
Facts.
if I say, yo, let's go like get drinks on Friday night, I want my friend to be like, dude, what the fuck that, let's grind. Like let's go fucking chill at a cigar bar and just talk like a couple guys. Like
I
I
like
fuck with
that.
that honestly. And
Yeah.
even if like obviously the occasional Friday night, like we'll convince that like friend, yeah, let's just go, like we'll go to a bar, like obviously here and there it's fine. But the idea of understanding and everyone in your friend group knowing you shouldn't be doing that and almost feeling
Yeah.
guilty to an extent, that's just what makes fucking warriors. And yeah, I mean having a good friend group like that like helps a ton.
For sure, man. For sure. I mean, that's perfect to segue to the next question. Like, what would you say are some principles and habits that you've adopted that have helped you become successful at a young age?
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing I'd say is discipline. Obviously I'm not perfect and there's so many guys I look at, I'm like, dude, I wish, whether it be working out, whether it be, meditation, waking up early.
Hmm.
I feel like there's so many things. Everyone's constantly looking at themselves and judging, which I think is good. I think like um, judging yourself in a like constructive criticism way, like in a positive manner, is great. But I'd say, yeah, discipline is like one of the biggest things I picked up. Understanding, for instance, procrastination, eating bad, et cetera, it affects you, financially, mentally, and overall
Hmm.
affects your journey as a human. And just understanding distractions and the negative things in life need to be taken out and control as much as possible just to allow that happiness and like the good aspect of life to like flourish.
Yeah. What do you do on your day to day to make sure that you're consistent and you're focused? Because I be watching your stories. Shit pumps me up. Whenever you're writing anything that's like growth related.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But what do you be doing in your day to day to make sure that you're staying consistent?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me, I like to always remember my nights lead to my mornings. So whenever I'm going
Hmm.
into a night, I understand if I fuck up that night, I'm gonna ruin my next day. Going out to like the
Mm.
other night, I was waking up at 6 a.m. every morning, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of this week. Beautiful, going to sleep at like 10:30, waking up 6 a.m. like hype. Not waking up like fuck, waking up hype as fuck, quick like 30-minute workout, go shower, change, just crush the day. And then one night I went out to a dinner. We had two drinks at the dinner, me and like a few friends. And then just like that, I only got home at 12, only got to sleep at 12:45, woke up at like 9:30. So that affected me that morning and I
Mm.
was very conscious of that. So the biggest thing for me in terms of like daily habits is having a good night routine. I think your night routine is more important than your morning routine because it leads
I
to it.
agree, bro. I've been feeling that lately, man. I was saying that recently too. Exactly, like it's like so funny. It's like it feels like a synchronicity that you mentioned that because this is something I've been very, very aware of lately. How important it is to have like exactly you said. Night routine might be so much more important than
It's
morning routine,
huge. I know.
bro. I like the discipline to sleep early. Like, yo, you said
It's
sleeping at
hard.
10:30. Like, fuck. Like to some people, bro, that shit's like unachievable consistently, impossible. I say most entrepreneurs, I don't really see that.
Yeah, it's hard. Like the thing is though, that like wind down, and it's an interesting concept that almost working less sometimes will benefit you. For
Hmm.
instance, I'll try to cut off all work at like 9 p.m. and then have like that 1 hour of chill because I know that'll lead to like a good, really good day the next day. You can work 12 hours a day, and mind
Mm.
you, we all have those days. We all have those days.
Right.
I had Monday, I remember I had an ad account ban, and the new ad account I made right when I made it in launch at band two. So I was just all over the place, and I went 6:45 to 10 p.m. So it was like a 13-hour day for me. So we all have those days, but those super optimal days and weeks, I think consist of like 4 to 5 hours of crazy deep work, 2 to 3 hours a day of like meditation learning, an hour or two a day of creation of content when you have that personal brand. And then other than that, like just winding down and almost planning, prepping, and like the long-term like goal. Like for me, I have my notebook. It's actually a good thing. I'm happy I'm mentioning this. Like this is something I've been doing for like a year and a half. February 25th of 2021 is when I started. So we're in June and I have it dated. So I know exactly what I did like each day, all the way to like today. I'm about to finish this one. I have like 40 pages left. So that's a big thing for me is I plan days either morning of or night before, and it like proactively lets me like manage the day in a very perfect and efficient manner.
You're in more control over your time in life when you know exactly what you knew today in the morning or even yesterday that at 5 you had this call, at 3 you had the call with Justin. It just makes you're taking in control of your life instead of being so reactive, like last minute, oh shit, I have this call. Oh shit,
It's terrible. Exactly. And like even with that, having like that proper structure, like keeps sanity to an extent. I think burnout's a huge thing. Even like going into 2020, the reason you go and you like allow yourself to relax is because you got burned out. Like late 2021, for instance, for me, I literally worked so much. It was like subconsciously, I'm like, I deserve this. I was allowing myself to do it. I'm not going to say that I got distracted. Like I allowed myself. I was very conscious and going out, being with these dude, we would do yachts, fucking random girls. Like it wasn't bad. It was fun, but it was a very like negative state in my life in regards to my bigger picture goal. I'm not going to be 40 looking back at that. I'm going to be 40 looking back at, I'm scaling a business to 100K a month at 20,
Right. Let's talk about e-commerce real quick before, I ask you some other questions, but the current state of e-com, what would you say are some fundamentals in order to succeed as you've been in it for a while and you got to see it from, the drop shipping world. I know you want to also talk about building like a proper brand and all that, but yeah, just talk about the fundamentals of having a successful e-commerce business now compared to like when you first started.
Yeah, 100%. I think that businesses and people, I'm a big believer in the like evolution of stuff changes as you go on, and it's never gonna go away. People love saying drop shipping's dead. For instance, you ask a guy who drop shipped 3 years ago and who's not doing it today, he's gonna be like, dude, that shit's so dead. I did it 3 years ago, it stopped being profitable. But the factor is it isn't dead. But if you look at a 2017 drop shipping store to today, dude, they're like fucking, that's like comparing Asia to America. It's like completely different parts of the world. And the same idea of like you need to be in the game and evolutionize with it, or you fall behind and you go extinct. So the big thing for me is like staying involved, staying active in it. Frankly, right now, in terms of like direct ROI on my time, like the whole e-learning, creation of content and coaching, I would make more. But the thing is I know deep down, if I lose that skill of e-com, I'm losing my specialized knowledge. I'm losing my high income skill, and that will fuck me in the long term. But for me, I just try to put a ton of time in what makes me money. TikTok ads, I think, is the biggest factor for me right now. It's pretty much my primary marketing source. So I'm just putting a ton of focus in the ads manager there, as well as also learning, I think, where e-com's going with the whole recurring revenue aspect and really increasing your customer lifetime value. I think the idea of needing to be branded was like the first step into it around a year ago. I feel like branded drop shipping became very popular around a year ago, but the idea of turning branded drop shipping businesses into like almost cash cows to an extent, once you turn a customer into a recurring customer, it's like insane. If you can combine that like A plus B right now, it's insane money to it. Like crunching numbers, I was doing for one of my businesses that I'm getting into like recurring revenue pretty well. And it's literally going to double my customer lifetime value over the course of 6 months. So just making me a ton more, like breaking even up front will be a win.
Wow. Yeah. Because you have the people in the reoccurring in the back end. That's dope to hear, man. I was going to ask your future plans, but I guess you just answered that there, just getting involved with the MRR and just brand building more.
That's dope. E-com's going there, in my opinion. I think in a year and a half from now, honestly, I'm happy this will be like a documented. I know I've said it on TikToks before. I think almost every store won't be profitable unless they have a customer journey past that first sale.
For sure. I mean, hell yeah, bro. That's so important. I think most people, even when they first started back in our days of like 2017, 2018, like most people are only focusing on running ads front end, just making, and it's like, come on, man. Like what matters is the average order or the lifetime value of the
Mhm.
customer, not just the average order value, the lifetime value of the
100%.
customer. And you're allowed to also take better risk if you actually do know your numbers, and you know your lifetime value. But yeah, man, let's end this podcast with some quick lifestyle questions. The first
100%.
one that I had is, do people treat you differently? And did you notice a difference in your life once you got verified, once you got that blue check on Instagram?
100%.
I want to
Yeah.
hear this. I need to hear this. I need to hear this.
I would say the verification was bigger than the followers. Like I have a
Right.
250,000, I think, on Instagram, so it helps. But like I, getting that blue check, just it's like a different realm. It's almost like it verifies you to an extent.
Right.
Like it brings you to, as fucked up as it is, to like an upper like society in Instagram to an extent.
Yeah.
Um,
Not
I
to an
mean,
extent, but it's reality now. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
it's
Like,
fucked up.
and as fucked up
I
as
love
it is
it.
to say, and as fucked up as it is to like think that it works like this, it's like we can't be blind to how the world works. Like people judge you based on your Instagram.
100%.
Like people judge you based on what you post and stuff. So it's like
Yeah, I'd
facts,
say
bro. But
like,
yeah, yeah. What changed, man? I want to hear all different areas of life, man. I know, especially girls, but all areas of
yeah,
life.
I would say like for me, the number one reason I pursued getting verified, mind you, it was a fucking battle. But was for like the business aspect. People trust you more. You have that blue check. It's like
Facts.
you don't have to worry about the scam accounts everyone's creating, like these crypto guys in friggin' every part of the world creating accounts being like, yo, I'm Splash, yo, I'm Jacob, pay me
Oh,
crypto.
bro. Yeah. Tell me about
But
it.
the verification helps a ton with that because when someone's DMing you, they see that blue check. If they ever see another DM that doesn't have it, they know. But I mean, past that, with women, I mean, that was like just a basic. Every girl you pretty much will hit up will respond to you. Again, like as I told you, I don't really do like the whole like outreach thing because it's just such a fucking distraction, like dating apps, all that shit. When I do want to go out and like I'm taking that like break, I'll go to a club or something. I'll meet a few girls, like have a fun weekend. But yeah, I mean, with women, it just like increases every conversion rate you can imagine. Any business connection, networking deal, it just it's like it's like having a Bugatti to an extent. It's like literally just like it's having something everyone wants that like they respect you for having to an extent.
Right.
And
That's hilarious.
the
Do
blue
you see
checks
people
definitely.
start treating you differently as well? Like, let's say me and you just met randomly through a mutual friends, and then I'm like, and then whatever, we've been conversating for an hour, and
Oh,
then I
after
follow
someone
you on
follows
Insta.
me? Oh,
Yeah, you
100%.
know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, dude, I don't like, look, I'm a social guy to an extent, but I'm never meeting someone unless there's like a mutual relationship.
Yeah,
And the people I'm meeting now, they don't even give a fuck. It's like
right.
guys like, guys like, what's a good example I can throw? We both know everyone, Luca Nets. A guy like Luca Nets, like, he'll respect it, but he doesn't like really give a fuck. He's
Yeah,
not
that's
gonna like,
facts, bro.
but the people who care, like randoms and like girls, those are like the big cares. I'll say like I will never even follow a girl or anything until I actually like her because it's almost like not even fun. I had this one time where we were going on a boat, funny little story, and it was like 15 people. Like it was a group of 7 girls. No, it was a group of 9 girls, one girlfriend, and me and 4 friends. So it was like
Mhm.
literally a big squad of girls, and they were all friends. They're all going in one car, and then we were going in our car. And they came like we pre-gamed at my place. And one girl, I said I do social media, like as like kind of like a living to an extent. Like it's a big part of my life. And bro, literally on the way there, the girlfriend told the boyfriend, who was my boy, he's like, bro, they found his Instagram and like they were all talking about it in the car right there. And then on the fucking boat, this was like the worst example I can tell you of like girls being weird about the whole social media thing, but she's literally like, let's make a TikTok. Let's make a TikTok. I'm
Oh my god,
like, dude,
she
literally I'm in
wants
the
some of
water.
that clout.
Yeah, but I mean, other than that, dude, I'm not surrounding myself with like those like random
Yeah,
girls. They even like now the girls I meet, they're like, I don't know, just like not. I won't even tell people. I love the idea of no one knowing. I love it.
yeah.
I just went on a first date with this really cool girl. She's like a really, really affluent family, like a successful past. And she like wanted to like know my Instagram. I genuinely said like, let's not follow each other on Instagram. It was like our little joke. And then after the date, because like we didn't want to see each other's like life. And then only after the date, we're driving home. And she's like, okay, like I got on your Instagram. And I gave it to her and she's like, whoa. She asked me questions on it. But
That's jokes, man.
yeah.
That's hilarious. That TikTok thing is funny. Girl just trying to get some clout off of
Yeah,
you.
that one girl. Oh, who's
No,
that?
that is hilarious, bro. That is hilarious. One more question, man. What's your go-to place in Miami?
Ooh, for what?
Vibes. Okay, one for food and just like second, just in your free time, like what do you like to do?
So food, I only will go out to dinner if it's with I have like three close friends here that I go out with like consistently. So if it's not with them, it's with a girl. I love Paperfish, great spot. It's like my go-to
Mm-hmm.
date spot. I know all the waiters there. They always dap me up.
Paperfish. Let me see.
But other than Paperfish, like Komodo's like so overhyped, but it's good. Poppy Steak in South Beach is fun. Only if you're like trying to party a bit. They have this cool like $1,000 steak you can get. And other than that, I mean, that's the go-to for restaurants. Dude, for me, like I kind of live other than restaurants and travel, it's kind of just a boring life. I just work, man.
I like that,
I would
man. I
say
like that. Do you
I
still play a
boat.
lot of golf, man? Because I remember you were
Yeah,
golfing.
golf and boats. So those are the only two activities I'd say we do is we'll rent boats. Like we'll just like be like, fuck it, let's go on boat day. We'll like day party we'll do every like few weeks. And there's some sick boats you can rent in Miami. For my birthday, we got like a 90 footer with jacuzzi. It was
Jeez.
crazy. And
Hell yeah.
golf, yeah, golf a ton. Golf's like it's so good. I just love golf. When I was younger, everyone said my mom, she's like, learn it, learn it. I never did. I only got into it around 7 months ago. But when I say like a networking sport, man, you could just fucking
Mhm.
talk to people so easy. You could play with four players, so it's the perfect like common ground where me and you know each other, and like we can go. We ever golfed like with two dudes. You knew one, I knew one. It's just so easy to network with people.
Mhm.
It isn't like weird where you're always talking to them like at dinner or lunch, but it's just so great. I love golf.
Yeah, for sure, man. I've still never played like proper golf,
You
but
got to.
I went top golf, bro, and I fell in love,
You
bro.
got next time
Eh,
in Miami, me, you can, we'll run
oh,
it.
Hondo, bro. Yeah, I had so much more respect for. Oh, I went to top golf with Cameron. Actually, it's funny, but yeah, man, I had so much more respect for golfers too after that, after the top golf, because I'm like,
Dude, it's
damn, bro,
hard, man. It's
it's
hard.
fucking hard, man. People,
And
I mean, I overestimated that sport. I'm like,
think of trying to get
fucking
it in
hit
the
the ball.
hole.
Yeah, easy, just ball in the hole, easy. But you're like, nah, this shit's. It was fun, but anyways, man, thank you so much for taking the time to come on this podcast, bro. This was a
100%.
very very nice one. I really enjoyed that. Felt like a free flowing conversation. Didn't even feel like an hour. I'm gonna
Agreed.
put all your socials below. I'm gonna also put your the program get started with jacob.com. So I'm gonna put that below as well. So for those of you guys interested in ecom, go ahead
100%.
and check it out. Yeah, always a pleasure talking to you, learning from you. Get to it's great catching up and got to know a little bit more about you. But any additional thoughts or things you want to say before we end this?
Dude, it was amazing being on here. I appreciate it. Other than that, pretty much good. Hope
Hell
everyone has a
yeah.
wonderful day.
Awesome. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening to this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.